Hello everyone. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and truly saw yourself? Not your job title, not your bank balance, not the filters on your phone. You. The real you. Because somewhere between deadlines, expectations, and the noise of this world, we've become really good at something dangerous, ignoring our own lives. We scroll past our passions. We mute our voices. We postpone our dreams like there's some luxury we'll get to later. Life isn't waiting for you to be ready. It doesn't pause while you figure things out or take a break while you decide what you want. It's happening right now in this very moment. Every breath you take, every hour that passes, every decision you delay, life is unfolding, and yet so many of us treat it like we have all the time in the world. Like we'll start truly living when we get that job or fall in love or make enough money. But life doesn't begin at some magical future moment. It's already begun. This is it. We often find ourselves living in autopilot mode. We wake up, go through our routine, tick off our to-do lists, and fall asleep, only to repeat it all the next day. And somewhere in between, we forget that life isn't just a checklist of responsibilities. It's about feeling alive. It's about those quiet, beautiful moments that go unnoticed because we're too distracted or too busy chasing the next thing. It's about laughing with someone you love, doing something that scares you, crying when it hurts, and finding beauty even in chaos. What happens when we keep pushing life into the later category? We risk losing time we can never get back. The truth is, time doesn't wait for the perfect situation. You won't suddenly wake up one day and everything's aligned, no fear, no failure, no uncertainty. You don't get a second version of today. So why not live it fully? We need to stop outsourcing our joy to the future. Stop saying, I'll be happy when, or I'll live my truth after. Because if you're not careful, that after becomes never. You deserve to live a life that excites you, not just one that you endure. You deserve to wake up with purpose, not dread. And you don't need anyone's permission to start. The moment you decide to start waiting and start living, everything begins to shift. Life rewards the bold. Not the perfect, not the ones who have it all figured out, but the ones who dare to show up, messy and real, and say, this is my life, and I'm going to make it count. So take the trip, write the book, call the person, say how you feel, do the thing that scares you. Don't waste time playing it safe, because safe doesn't always mean fulfilled. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be present, be awake, be here, because life isn't something that happens later. It's happening now. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you stop ignoring it, the more vibrant, meaningful, and unforgettable it becomes. Your feelings, your instincts, your desires, they are not flaws. They are not inconveniences. They are signals. You were not meant to live a life that looks good but feels hollow. You were not meant to constantly explain yourself or justify your dreams. If something is calling to you, listen. If something feels off, trust it. Your intuition is not random. It's wisdom built from your experiences, your values, your soul's language. The more you silence your voice, the more disconnected you become from yourself. And when you're disconnected from yourself, you start living for everyone else. You chase goals that don't fulfill you, follow paths that aren't yours, and lose sight of the person you were meant to become. But the moment you start tuning back in, that's when everything begins to change. When you honor your voice, you start making choices that feel good on the inside, not just ones that look good on the outside. So stop doubting your inner knowing, stop talking yourself out of what you feel. You don't need 100 reasons to choose what feels right, you just need to give yourself permission. The voice inside you isn't asking you to have it all figured out, it's just asking you to listen. And when you do, you'll find clarity, courage, and a version of yourself you've been waiting to meet. In a world that constantly demands perfection, choosing to be authentic can feel like a radical act. From an early age, we're taught to polish our image, edit our words, and filter our emotions. We're rewarded for being agreeable, for fitting in, for following the script. But somewhere along the way, in trying to be everything to everyone, we start losing ourselves. We become versions of who we think we should be rather than who we truly are. And slowly, almost without realizing it, we trade authenticity for approval. But perfection is a myth, an exhausting, never-ending race with no finish line. It tells us we need to be flawless before we can be worthy, that we have to hide our mess, our doubts, our scars. Yet it's often those very things, the imperfections, the rawness, the vulnerability that make us real. That's where connection lives. That's where truth lives. People don't fall in love with perfect. They connect with real. They relate to the unfiltered parts, the cracks where the light gets in. When you choose authenticity over perfection, you're not saying you have it all figured out. You're saying, this is who I am today and that's enough. You're allowing yourself to be seen, not the curated version, not the highlight reel, but the honest, human version. And that kind of presence is powerful. It's magnetic. It inspires others to drop their masks too. You give people permission to be real just by being real yourself. The pressure to be perfect can be suffocating. It keeps you from trying new things because you're afraid to fail. It stops you from speaking up because you might be judged. It convinces you to shrink your personality so you don't take up too much space. But perfection will never lead to peace. It will never give you the satisfaction you think it will, because no matter how much you achieve, it will always whisper, not enough. Authenticity, on the other hand, is freeing. It allows you to show up imperfect and still feel whole. There's a quiet strength in saying, I don't have all the answers, but I'm still showing up. There's courage in owning your story, even the chapters you'd rather skip. And there's beauty in being exactly who you are, not a copy, not a mold, but your own unique presence. You weren't meant to blend in. You weren't meant to dilute yourself to be more palatable. You were meant to stand out, to bring something original to this world just by being you. So let go of the illusion that you need to be perfect to be enough. You are already enough. Your flaws don't disqualify you, they humanize you. Your authenticity is not a weakness, it's your greatest strength. The world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs the real you, fully present, fully honest, and fully alive. There comes a point when you have to stop waiting for someone to hand you permission to live the life you want. Your story is yours, no one else's. And the truth is, if you don't take ownership of it, someone else will start writing it for you. Too often, we fall into the trap of letting circumstances, opinions, or fear dictate our path. We shrink ourselves into roles that feel comfortable or acceptable. We play background characters in our own lives, watching from the sidelines while our dreams gather dust. But life doesn't wait. It moves, it changes. And the only way to truly feel fulfilled is to step into the lead role of your own story. You are not here just to survive, you are here to live. To explore, to create, to feel, to mess up, to rise again. You're not meant to be perfect, you're meant to be present. When you take ownership of your life, you stop asking for approval and start asking yourself what you want. What makes you happy? What lights you up? What feels like purpose, not just pressure? Taking control doesn't mean having it all figured out. It means being brave enough to ask the questions and bold enough to follow the answers, even when they lead you away from what's familiar. It means saying yes to your dreams and no to what drains you. It means drawing boundaries, setting intentions, and choosing a path that feels honest, even if it scares you. No one else is living your life. No one else feels what you feel, dreams what you dream, or knows the battles you faced to get here. That's why your story matters. That's why you must claim it. The world doesn't need you to be a copy of someone else. It needs your voice, your energy, your experience. You were given this life for a reason, and the most powerful thing you can do with it is own it. Sometimes ownership means letting go of who you thought you were supposed to be so you can become who you really are. It means releasing the pressure to meet expectations that don't match your truth. It means choosing authenticity over appearance, growth over comfort, and truth over silence. You don't have to wait for a perfect moment to begin. Start where you are with what you have. Own your choices, your story, your power. Because once you do, you stop merely existing and you start truly living. You begin to shape a life that reflects your heart, not just your habits. You begin to stand taller, speak louder, and love deeper. And that's when everything begins to shift. Not because the world changes, but because you do. Because when you take ownership of your life, you stop following someone else's script and start writing your own. And that, right there, is where the real magic begins.